Sales has been huge in my life, right? But I've been selling since I was a kid, bro. You know what I'm saying? 9 years old, knocking doors, washing cars for money. You know what I'm saying? Then I got a little older and I started selling drugs. So I knew the concept of selling, right? But I also was in a business environment growing up. So I also knew the concept of business.
If you want to be ultimately successful, the number one skill you need is to master communication. I want a bunch of badasses around me. That's what I want. Like, I want everybody around me to be just a fucking badass. And not just in business, not just in physical health, in everything. And in a sense, it's like I've had this expectation the whole time. Like, that's what I want. But it's like, well, you're not even that motherfucker. So how the hell can you expect anybody else around you to be that if you're not even that?
That's a super powerful driving force.
If you're gonna do something, go all in, give it everything you got, and don't stop when it gets hard. Most people, like, I'm going through a hard time and it's like you quit there. It's like, well, why the hell would you quit in the middle of the shit? Like, keep going and get through it. And I'm a testament to that, man.
Kicking Ass, Taking Names podcast. And today we are here with two guests from the local market, Rio Osorio, did I say that correctly?
Yep.
And Adrian Vasquez.
Vamos.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you guys so much for being here. They represent Alpha Army. If you guys haven't seen them, if you haven't worked with them, their company is doing, what's you guys' revenue right now? How are you guys looking?
This year we'll do around 20 million.
And I noticed that it's very interesting because you're split between like 4 different types of service-based businesses. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's 3. So it's solar, roofing, and then we're licensed public adjusters. We basically go into market a little different angle than like most solar companies, even roofing companies for that matter, because we use the public adjusting side. So, you know, we got a bunch of, I mean, especially in Arizona, tons of door knockers out there knocking for solar. We're going and knocking for roofs, damaged roofs. Hey, we'll let your insurance company help you pay for your roof. And by doing that, they know us, like us, trust us now. Now when they go in to pick out their roofing colors and all that, we upsell the solar.
And so just to get started, let's go into like the story, right? So you started Alpha Army. We're going to talk about that. Adrian, you also joined Rio, and I know that you've been huge in the community. I kind of want to put this in a spin of where we can talk about Phoenix as well, because been doing this for a while, and I think people need to know, you know, and that's why I appreciate you guys coming on here. Like, I know people want to know you, people want to know me. Let's support each other, local business. How did you get started, and why, like, did you go in that direction?
Well, I mean, okay, start from the beginning. So I'm from a small copper mining town east of here, Globe, Arizona. Whole family still in mining. I'm the only one who's kind of ventured out into entrepreneurship, and I think that was, I mean, always the plan for me. I didn't know anything different. I was never a good employee, and it was just always something I wanted to do for a long time. And the first step for me, the first business that I bought, like I was 21, 22, had no idea what I was doing. Didn't even know how to get the money. It was only $30,000. It was for a FedEx route. Mm-hmm. But I knew, you know, it paid pretty well. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. That was kind of my first venture into like, okay, I need money. I don't have money. How do I get the damn money? And, you know, back then, like, that was like, dude, there was really not internet back then, nothing like that. So it was just dig in, find out, talk to people. Went into the bank. I'm like, hey, can I have some money? And they're like, you need to write a business plan, all this stuff. Had to figure all that stuff out. Did it, got the money, started that business. And that was kind of my first, you know, taste of entrepreneurship. And I just loved it. I knew there was nothing else for me. I wanted to work for myself. And from there, it was something that I was always interested in marketing. I didn't know it at the time, but it was like, I was just more of a creative person, and it took me years to really figure out that that's what I liked, that's what I was good at. And then when I did that, I started a marketing agency. At the time, that was, well, I didn't start that, I joined that one. That was for dental marketing. I did that for a couple years and realized that dental marketing is so freaking boring. and I want to do something cooler.
One of my good buddies actually does. He's got a company that's doing like $250,000 a month off of dental marketing now. But
it's a great business. You can make a lot of money at it. It wasn't for me.
Right.
And at the time, it was like that's when like Instagram was kind of popping off, and everybody's selling something on there, doing something, and that's kind of when I ventured into that. And that's also, I mean, you've interviewed him, but that's kind of around the time that I met John Malott. And he was kind of basically my first mentor, the first person that I kind of allowed into my life, because before that it was like, I'm going to do everything myself. And I realized I couldn't. And I met him. We partnered on Empire Builders. It was basically a coaching business, and did that for, I think, a little over a year. Built a great friendship, partnership with him. And I mean, he's helped me a lot throughout my life. I was just talking to him earlier, but it was that time that, like everyone talks about, you need a mentor. You know, all the greats have a mentor or a coach or whatever, and I just didn't really understand that world. Again, from a small town, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So with him, it was 13 months after I met him that I made my first $1 million, and that was a powerful thing for me. So it was like, and there was nothing special about what happened. It was just being around people that had money, just hearing how they spoke. And it kind of gave me that, like, these guys are no different than me. And I think I made something up in my mind. Like, these dudes they're different. They're special. I'm never going to be that. And once you get around them, it's like, no, man, these guys, these are just dudes, man. They're cool people, just doing big things. And I think that's what kind of pushed it over for me. And from there, I went into e-commerce for a while. Had a nice warehouse in Tempe. Did some big things there. Was able to make some good money, and that just allowed me to start investing in other things. And that kind of leads up to today. I invested in the roofing company and the public adjusting side, and then me and one of my partners, we started the solar side, and now they're just kind of together and doing our thing now.
So
Killing it.
I have some questions about that, but before I do that, Adrian, how did you get introduced to Alpha Army?
Shoot, dude, I'm gonna give Brad Lee the credit, right? Because of Brad attracting people on Instagram, right? Like he's like, come make fucking $300K a year with me and Real Solar and shit like that. So I opt in, and I'm like, shit, I could sell some shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I get in that group, and then they throw an event, a Rise event, and John Malott was speaking there, Call Tattoo was speaking there, all that shit like that. And I show up, and John Malott's tearing the stage up. He's like, man, they were gonna pay me 20 stacks in Vegas to go speak, but I came here because of Rio Osorio. And I was like, who's that? And then they put the attention on Rio, and I was like, okay, respect.
Yeah,
you know
John
what I
brings
mean?
energy, man.
Yeah, 100%. And I followed him after that night, and so I'm kind of in that space. They're in roofing, adjusting, and solar and stuff, right? And I'm in the solar space, and a roofer. I was on Brad Lee's, what's it called? The Elite Coaching or whatever. And a roofer hits me up in there. He's like, I'm gonna be in Phoenix. You wanna do a pod with me? I was like, hell yeah. He was like, I got 2 extra seats open. Can you invite somebody else? And in my head, I was like, it just makes sense. Real's in the roofing industry, and he's a marketer. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like going through his page, and I'm like, I'm gonna invite his ass. You know what I'm saying? See if he says yes. And then he says yes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. You know. And then we go to the pod. It's like a pod share in Scottsdale or some shit like that. But it was a good vibe, bro. And at the time, we were recruiting for the Super Bowl. I do a lot of shit, bro. So anyways, fucking we're recruiting for the Super Bowl, and the owner wants to sell his security business. And I know Real's around big money. He got big money. I'm like, yo, we got a business that they're trying to sell. Like, would you be interested in that? Literally a shot in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, see if Real would like see anything in it, right? He's like, I want to check it out. So I was like, shit, boom. And then just, the relationship kept going. We had that second meeting with the owner. And the vibrations kept going. But when we showed up to that meeting, me and my partner Philo, we were recruiting for another energy company at the time. And Jobs was like, why aren't you guys doing that with us? And we're like, shit, we don't know. Like we'll come do it with y'all motherfuckers. What's up? You know what I mean? And then sure enough, probably like 2-3 weeks later, I get a call from Rio, and he's like, would you be interested in coming in and talking to me about potentially, you know, coming in and joining us and recruiting for us and shit like that? And I was like, hell yeah. So I went to the meeting, and it was like a wrap ever since. You feel me?
And that brings me to a full circle. So Alpha Army, like, are you guys, you're a marketer, but Alpha Army's recruiting sales reps. Are you guys in sales? Are you guys in marketing? How do you define that?
We're in both. I mean, we do both. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, the marketing side of it, I mean, if you break it down, like that's basically, well, part of what we do is the door knockers. I mean, those guys are out there marketing for us, and then we send in our sales guys to close it down. So, yeah, we do both. And, yeah, Alpha Army. So originally it was Alpha Sales Group. My partner Daniel had come up with that, and when he joined me a few years back, we were just kind of running with that. It was what we didn't really kind of know what it was at the time. We were just playing with it, and then what's been, I don't even know, a year now or so. We met the Elliott Group. I don't know if I'm sure you know them.
I'm actually interviewing Andy soon.
Yeah. So met up with them, kind of partnered up with them on a few things, and they had their kind of whole vibe, you know, Elliott Army, and I'm just like, that kind of fits. So we just changed it up to Alpha Army, and it's been that way ever since, and I like it. You know, I think it's still in its early stages of like really dialing in like what it is and what it means, and I think we're gonna get there soon with it. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, if you break it down, that's kind of like our recruiting arm.
Hormozy, a lot of the time, says you should have, okay, so you have a roofing company, you have a solar company, you have the adjusters. A lot of times Hormozy says slash 2 of those 3 legs and just grow 1 to 100 million.
Sure.
Triple down. I know that in every case, it's not actually the best option, because let's say you guys have an affiliate or referral network or whatever alternate ways that you produce revenue. But what is your opinion on that? Because that's like a really big thing that's been talked about in this space.
So, I mean, I fully agree with that. But look, there's multiple ways to look at that. Mm-hmm. So you can even take Hormozy, for example. What is his main company? Acquisition.com. So he technically is an owner of a lot of companies, but it's finding the right people, putting them in the right place, and they're running that company. So that's the way I look at everything. You know, each company is its own entity, but, you know, we put badasses in place to run them. So, you know, it is in a sense, you know, its own focus and it wasn't always, and we're getting better at that as we go. But yeah, I mean, I have, you know, even a couple other, that's kind of what I do. So I'm not an operator. Like, that's not what I do. It's not what I want to do. Mm-hmm. If someone's like, dude, we want to make you the CEO, so I no thanks. I want nothing to do with that. I do what I do. I'm a relationship builder. I go out there and I make big relationships, and I make big things happen out of them. And I bring opportunities to the table. But the thing about it is that I'm really good at finding those people. So I look for operators. I look for badass operators, and then through whatever means or whatever, whether it's investing or just organically partnering, because I bring some value to the table, we partner up and we blow stuff up, and that's what I want to do. Like, I got 2 other businesses I'm working on right now, and I'm not going to operate them. I'm going to bring my value to the table, which I'm really good at recruiting and doing a few different things that I'm good at, and that's what I do, and that's going to allow me to create multiple businesses and not be kind of in the terms of what you're saying, like spread crazy thin and doing, instead of doing one thing really good, you know, doing a bunch of things super average. Like John Malat says, like, you know, most people want to have, because it's the thing that everybody talks about, multiple streams of income, but you have multiple trickles of income.
Right, yeah. It's like if you don't put enough, and I've said this before probably like twice on podcasts, because it's been so instrumental in making a difference in my life, which was that everything you start, there's like a certain level of effort that you almost can't even see. And then you go beyond that point where you're pushing yourself, and then you're like, man, I'm struggling. But it's actually 20% above that where you see results. And so everything I relate every business now. If I think about doing something or I'm going to start something, I know if I don't go after it with rocket ship fuel type of energy and ambition, then nothing's going to come from it, right?
Yep.
This is like a great way to talk about, because I'm here to like uplift people, uplift the community. Like as this has been going on, I've gotten more and more driven to like a mission, right? The mission is to inspire and help and get other people into places where they can make a difference in their lives. Because how much has one opportunity changed your life or your life? Like one opportunity can change your life. Let me ask you guys this, and we could start with Adrian and move to you. Sales in general. It's an open opportunity. It's open sea. People need it. But for a young guy, for somebody who wants to make money, make a difference in their life, like just starting in general, like how has that made a change and difference in your life? And just like, can you provide some inspiration for people out there?
Yeah, man. Sales has been huge in my life, right? But I've been selling since I was a kid, bro. You know what I'm saying? 9 years old, knocking doors, washing cars for money. You know what I'm saying? Then I got a little older and I started selling drugs. So I knew the concept of selling, right? But I also was in a business environment growing up. So I also knew the concept of business, right? And so as I grew older, I was like, I'm going to be in business. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to sell shit. I'm going to brand shit. I'm going to fucking do dope shit within business, right? Like I knew that was going to be my mark my whole life. Crazy, because it's true. And for
everybody out there, you're not still selling drugs, right?
No, fuck no, bro. No, you know what? I don't like any of that stuff anymore. Like even some of the music is too much for me, right? Like I can't hear too much, you know, cocaine, bad bitches. I can't do like because now it starts. I got a spirit. I'm a born again Christian. I'm not a perfect person, bro, but like I do how you say this? Like I got a conscience. You know what I mean? And I know that stuff ruined my life. I went to prison for a long time. And I seen my buddies die, and I seen my buddies turn addicts and all this stuff like that. So I know nothing good comes from that influence. You feel me? So I treat it very carefully. Like if I am listening to Dolph or I'm listening to Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? It's really like literally I'm like transferring the meaning to business as opposed to whatever they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying you're listening to somebody else's struggle and you're like, okay, what did they put into the song that is like real versus what's just lyrics?
Right.
Or how can you apply whatever they're saying maybe about drugs or this
You know who does
business?
that really well? Russ.
Yeah.
Dude, Russ is so good because the guy, he's like, I love his saying, and this is probably like a short guy thing, and he's like, I'm 5'6", but the money makes me 6'5".
Yeah.
And then he has a song that says, like everything that, or I forgot the exact lyrics, but everything in the song is like, don't trust people who are like, don't have your back, this and that. But the whole premise of the song, I'm actually blanking on, but the whole premise of the song is that the whole song, he's just telling you real life facts. Like as you go through life, you're going to run into this. Right. And it's purely like positive stuff. Like,
Yeah, no, Russ is a G, bro. I like Russ. He's definitely positive, different-minded, higher-minded individual. But sales, coming back to that, you know, how's that helped me in the last 6 years? I just got real serious with it, right? Like I got out of prison and I started after party hookah with a good friend of mine, Amir Sabi. And I started realizing, well, shit, I need more clients. And I hired 2 employees to sell the hookahs there on site. And I had to train them on how to sell the hookahs on site. So I started realizing like this is a sales game. And
still retail sales. Yeah.
And it may be something that's simple to me. Like I know how to sell stuff, right? But the 2 employees, they were overwhelmed and I seen that. Mm-hmm. So I started seeing that like, okay, well, it's their perception of it. And also they don't have enough experience with it, right? So just in that, I started like looking people up and like, all right, so how do I sell more? How do I sell better? How do I market better?
Who are some of your inspirations then?
Paul Xavier, about his course. That fool's a boss. Like he's a media production dude, but he like transferred it over to marketing.
And you said Brad Lee as well.
Brad Lee for sure. You know what I'm saying? Real too, bro. Like really everyone I'm around is my inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm around these guys by choice and by blessing, right? Like it's ridiculous to me. This is a kid, bro, like me coming up, this is all I ever wanted to be around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So like now that I'm here, I'm like,
Success by association.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's huge.
100%, man. Yeah, so it's helped me with communication. It's helped me with confidence. It's helped me with expanding my mind. It's also challenged me a lot. It's also I've faced, like, I don't make a deal. I don't sell something. What did I do wrong? Like, why did it make me feel like shit? You know what I mean? And just going through that process and just figuring out how to better navigate through my life in general from those experiences.
Yeah, and as you grow as a person, it comes across in the way that you communicate with others, which directly affects your income, right?
100%.
Rio, so how's sales impacted your life? What do you have to say to Alpha Army and everybody?
It's impacted my life a lot. I wouldn't say, I mean, look, we're all salesmen. Sure, everybody says that, cool. Right. But I'm not really a salesman. I've sold a lot of stuff. But like, I'm not the guy that, like, you know, knows all the processes, the 10-step, all this. I don't do any of that stuff. Everything I've sold when I was selling stuff, it was something that I was passionate about, like I believed in the product, all that. And so it was easy for me to convey that to people and for them to pick that up and believe and trust in what I'm saying. So in that sense, sales came easy to me, but it was always something that, you know, was a product that I believed in. In terms of kind of outside of myself, so I don't even know, 2.5, 3 years ago, I had my e-commerce business. I had a dope warehouse in Tempe, just like cool spot, set up super dope. And I was introduced through another friend of mine to now my partner, 23 years old, Daniel Giles. And this kid came in, had a team of 50 guys with him, slinging insurance. And that was really kind of the first time that I saw somebody that was super talented in sales. And this kid at the time was like 19 years old. But I just saw something. And every other part of his life was a mess, like just blowing his money, making stupid decisions, doing all kinds of dumb shit. So that's kind of what I saw. You know, like I said, going back, I'm like, I find people that are, you know, badass at their craft, and then I figure out how, you know, I can partner with them. And, you know, I saw this kid who excelled so much in sales, but just had everything else messed up. Well, I'm like 20 years older than the kid. So I'm like, you know, I got some information and some mentorship that I can offer him. And we just kind of connected on that. And, you know, I look at him like a son now, and he's a business partner, great salesman. But through his sales ability and my business ability, you know, we've been able to build some pretty dope businesses. So sales has definitely impacted my life a lot.
Yeah, see, like, you know, it's crazy. It's like everybody is getting into podcasting, and I know you guys also both actually have podcasts as well. How do you see that playing a role in like media and your business and in sales now?
Attention.
Yeah.
Attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you're talking to me about, like, you know, how you want to leverage this attention to do this other stuff and fulfill some services for other people and stuff like that, like, same thing, bro. Like, eventually, like, I just want to have so many eyes on me that I could sell a $23 package on the first 3 things you need to do to set up your podcast. Mm-hmm. And then 10,000 people bought it. And now I got 23 G's from an e-product that I didn't have to be there to fulfill. You know what I mean? So just leveraging the attention is really the biggest goal for me. I mean, right now I leverage the attention to recruit and a few other things, you know what I mean? But I know Rio's big on that with me. He's like, attention marketing. We just need more attention on us. And that shit's real, bro. You become a magnet. So that's how I see it being used. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same. I mean, so there's that, and there's you know, just getting mass attention, but there's also kind of what we've been doing is, you know, like, look, we barely started the podcast. It's not like we got a bunch of people following it yet or anything, but the podcast has, you know, right now it has a certain perception, so you can leverage that perception to talk to other people. You know, nobody necessarily that's like crazy big or anything, but you're going back to the business side of it. So it's like right now, it's like, okay, who has the leads that we need, you know, to sell them solar, roofs, any of it. And it's like, okay, real estate agents. So it's like right now we've been focused on, hey, let's bring real estate agents that, you know, we think have a decent following, decent pipeline, maybe a big list, and let's use the podcast to build a relationship with them. You know, make everybody feel real good and, you know, all cool cameras, all this shit. So, and then after that, it's like, hey man, look, like we can help you make more money just off the current, the customers you already have, help your agents if you have, you know, agents under you. And, you know, it's just kind of a seamless way to grow your business. And, you know, if you start thinking of things that way, dude, there's some, you know, I don't even necessarily know what you do outside of this, but there's someone that you're talking to or bringing on this that has leads or customers that you need that, you know, you can build that relationship with. And
yeah, 100%. I'm actually leaning into the direction of Ryan Majin's doing short form content for brands, just like as a package to help them grow, get started. Because I think a lot of people don't realize it's scary to start.
Yeah.
For the biggest part of all of this for everybody is that it's scary.
Right.
Once you get through it and you start doing it, it doesn't get, I wouldn't say it gets less intimidating because you grow and you bring on bigger guests or you do more things, but you get braver and you get more of an ability to think on your feet and say like, oh, okay, I can do
so
this.
speaking to that, that's funny because that's, like I said, I think before we started is, you know, I've been able to build some big relationships over the past 5-6 years. And, you know, I've had the opportunity to do some pretty big things. I've been offered to speak on stage and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not my thing. Like, I'm like, hell no. Well, that's
hopefully
the story.
soon though, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's the story.
Yeah.
That's the story. Nah, that's not my thing. Like, I'm the guy, I play back. I set other people up. That's what I do. And that's the story I've been telling myself. And honestly, it was, I don't even know, month ago now? I don't even remember. I had the opportunity, Steve was with us, to take a PJ out to Vegas with Andy Elliott and his team and just run like literally side by side with him to go while he spoke at WealthCon. So we're like with him. We're in the green room.
Dude,
we're
Andy
doing
brings the energy, dude.
Yeah,
I can't
dude,
wait to interview him.
We're doing it all, dude. And, you know, we had the opportunity there just to, it was just more intimate than it normally is. I mean, I'm out there with him all the time. You know, we got a good relationship, but it was building the relationship different and having, you know, him and even Jacqueline pour into me differently. And something just like snapped and I'm just like, fuck this. Like I'm going all in. Like if I'm speaking one-to-one, this guy can speak to it. I think even Steve, like I have a lot of experience. I've been around, I've done a lot of things. Like I can speak powerfully into these guys, but like you get 10, 15, 20 people in the room, I just like freeze. It's just whatever reason. I don't know. It's my past childhood shit, trauma. I don't even know. It's whatever it is. I said, fuck it. That ain't happening anymore. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where, you know, I've heard someone say it before, but it's like the most powerful thing a man can do is make a decision. And I made the fucking decision. I went all in and I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it, man. And dude, I don't even know, what have we done? Like 5 or so podcasts since then, just going hard. And each time I feel it, like you said, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit better. I'm able to speak on my feet a little bit better, you know, something quick. And that's the goal right now. That's what part of what I'm leveraging this for is just to learn how to speak better and get better, because that's one of the most powerful things you can do.
Fuck yeah.
And I think right now, like this is a big thing. So I think right now everybody wants awareness. Yeah. Also at the end of the day, everybody wants authenticity. The days of the perfect this and that speakers are over. But at the end of the day, also, you have to give credit to the people who look really good on camera, because it definitely does. The more you do it, the more you realize it definitely does take a skill. Yeah. You got to develop that skill. And so as time goes on, the only way, I think people have to realize the only way you can actually get into the game and do it is to start. Yep. My coach always said, I do Muay Thai kickboxing. My coach always said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Yep. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Straight up. Not only that, but the fact that people traditionally learned from other people, right? Nowadays we're learning, but we're online. We're not connected. Yeah. But how did you traditionally, like you used to, you know, when women used to weave baskets and then they'd teach their daughter, and you know the guy who would, you know, have food and he'd say, okay, like this is like this is how you cut the elk and
Right,
you
right.
know, skin the meat and whatever. Like, but we learned from that. So I think that's where I picked that up from you, from that you went to go out there with Andy and you saw it and you were there and you were doing, you built confidence by watching somebody who did it in front of you.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
so huge for humans. And I think we have to reconnect to that. That's why the coaching and the programs and getting involved with people on a really hands-on basis is so necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, absolutely. And so it was that and seeing that and just seeing, you know, Andy's like just insane rise here in the last like 6 months, like going crazy, interstellar. But it was that, but it was also specifically in his speech that he was going through. And there was three things if you want to be like ultimately successful in your life. And I've done pretty well, but like, I mean, I got 100 gears left, man. I'm like, I still feel like I'm at the bottom.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's really the one thing for me. Well, there's probably a lot of things I'm not good at, but for the most part, I would say that one thing in his speech and in his slideshow. It's like, if you want to be ultimately successful, the number one skill you need is to master communication. And it was that was just like, I get it now. I see it. I feel it. You know, we see all these people pave the way, like literally give you the blueprint, but you still make excuses on like, I don't know, or I don't know what to do or whatever. But it's like, you know, again, back to Andy, the perfect example, like I think 12 months ago, he had 4,000 followers. And I don't even know what he's at right now. Probably
Is that really true?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
He's had a massive epic
I love
rise.
that. I love one of my favorite posts was he's like, if you don't have a 6-pack, you can't work with
Yep.
us. I think that was definitely a little bit for attention. But also
he had over 500,000 followers now.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's had some big viral ones go viral, ones like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's all the, like, look, it's not all good. Like a lot of those, you go through one of his viral ones is people just talking shit, but it's like, it all adds to it and getting more eyes on your stuff. So it's like, you know, you got some people who get so upset. Oh, he fucking said something mean to me. Or I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Dude.
Right.
Like I'll talk some shit back sometimes. Sometimes I don't give a shit, but it's like that all helps the algorithm and move things forward. And
Like you were saying, the era of the perfect speaker, the perfect influencer is done. Like people want authenticity, and freaking Andy's telling you you're fucking fat, you're lazy, you're not communicating well, you know, and it's fucking polarizing, you know what I mean? But it's real. And that's what matters the most, because we all been lying to each other like, no, it's all right. You know,
Because Instagram was built off of this whole perfect perception. It started as food, actually.
Right.
Originally, Instagram was food.
Right.
We just post pictures of our food all day and then take pictures of, you know, you're at the pier in San Francisco or whatever and take a photo. And then you go home and you just share those photos. Then it became Instagram, model this, model that, and then all these kind of sports cars. But I think that's really inspiring, the whole being like able to be vulnerable online, because I know vulnerability is not weakness. Like it's you know, if you can take like, you know, if you can roll with the punches and you can keep going, that's strength, right? That shows resilience. And for me, that actually really inspires me to think like, you know what I should do? I should take a whole podcast like camera around the whole process as I'm getting ready. And then like, oh, the feelings I'm feeling, like, okay, I'm feeling
nervous.
very uneasy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling nervous. You can see it in my podcast at the first 10 minutes. I'm like the most nervous. And then I open up after about 10, 15. I can comment on that and say after 15 minutes, I've opened up. But I think it's just like, I'm being more open now, because it's like, how do you get better if you don't express that? What are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for your people? What are you looking for in your environment? You're looking for a specific environment, it sounds like, right? And I know you're looking for the right people to partner with. What does that look like for you?
I mean, I guess there's multiple versions of it. Like, you know, I feel like I was an underdog, so I kind of take a liking to underdogs, you know. Well, underdogs that I see, I see there's something there. I'm like, there's something there. I mean, take this guy right here. Like, the first time that I met, I mean, you hear him when he talks. I mean, he's just energy. He's got that ghetto still in him, which I love. You know, but But just talking to him, it was like, dude, there's something to this guy. He's got something. And if I can be a part of bringing that out and helping him reach all his dreams, like that's major for me. And, you know, I've taken some, I don't want to say L's because it's not that, but, you know, I've taken some losses or didn't get the bag on certain things because I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to help other people. And that's fine with me. I'm okay with that because, you know, that's part of my legacy, I think. And that's, that's what I want to do. But overall, I mean, if you break it down, and this has evolved again as well, and especially with meeting Andy and those guys, and it's never to say like I agree with everything that everybody says. Oh, this guy's so big, so I agree. No, like I would say most things I agree with Andy on, but you know, so I just hired his trainer. I don't know if you've seen Aaron, his new trainer with him, the freaking monster.
Sure.
He's an animal, but just a badass dude, veteran. And it was actually the last time I was over there, and Andy just like pulled me aside and just basically called me out. Like, basically, like, you're a bitch, dude. Like, you've got so much more in you and you're fucking slacking off. And, you know, he said it out of love. And that's exactly how I took it. And I'm just like, you're fucking right, dude. Like, you're right. I have so much more in me and I'm not able to express that because, you know, whatever it is, like, I used to be really fit, like, you know, 20s, 30s, like I was jacked. It was like all I thought about in the gym all the time. And then I kind of let that go. You know, I had, got married and all these things, not that that's an excuse. And, you know, he basically called me out and I needed that. I needed somebody to do that. Because I know that, you know, how you show up, wherever you show up is what you're thinking in here. And I would show, like you just said it, which kind of fucking irritates me, but you said it when you see some of my videos, you're like, yeah, I could tell you're a little, and I feel that, I know that, like, I know the shit, but I'm like, fuck.
I could see mine though. I could see my anxiety in my videos for sure.
And, you know, I could let that be like, fuck, man, I gotta stop posting shit. But no, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go even harder because I can't. Like, now my goal is to make sure you don't ever fucking see that again.
Same with me. Like, now I'm like, all right, let's go. You know,
and that's the goal. But anyways, you know, he brings Aaron over to me, like makes him fucking lift up his shirt, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. And you know, I really needed that because I know that's part of it just is. It makes you feel more confident. It makes you, you know, show up in a different way, and it gives you a different perception that helps, especially when you're leading, you know, a lot of young men. And you know, I signed up with him, and it was very expensive. And but I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna invest in me and do this. And the reason I'm getting at that to kind of circle back is like, look, I want a bunch of badasses around me. That's what I want. Yeah. Like, I want everybody around me to be just a fucking badass, and not just in business, not just in physical health, in everything. Like, I want the dudes around me to have great marriages, you know, to love their wife, to treat their wife right, to do all those things, to be an excellent father if they're a father, you know, but yeah, to be fit, to do, that's what I want around me. And in a sense, it's like I've had this expectation the whole time, like that's what I want. But it's like, well, you're not even that, motherfucker. So how the hell can you expect anybody else around you to be that if you're not even that? And that was the thing for me that I'm like,
that's a super powerful driving force though. Right? Yeah. That's a super powerful. I want to say one thing, and I'm going to segue over to Adrian. I actually pushed my father. He's 55 now, and he hasn't worked out in like 30 years. But he used to run 4 hours a day up the Hollywood Hills, and he was a state track qualifying. He actually got third place in the 800 meter in California State. It's like 256 or 186 something school districts. And he said like I know this is irrelevant, the only guys who beat him were like two immigrants, like one Chinese dude and one black dude, like from Africa. And then my dad, who's from Bangladesh, right? Like, and he still has calves to this day, even though he didn't work out for 30 years. His calves are still iron because you could tell he was like skinnier than me, and he would run straight up hills for 4 hours. I pushed him to get into training. I pushed him so hard. After so long, I think he got tired of it. He's like, all right, whatever. I took the most expensive club, private training facility in our town, which is like a small town, marina town. Like people who live there also have boats and mansions. So it's not like cheap. And I took the most expensive place and I said, you need to go here and talk to these guys. He went there, talked to them, spent, I don't know, 15 to 18 grand a year.
Damn.
And I didn't want him to get a regular trainer because of one thing. I know how he values his time, how he values his money, what he prioritizes.
Exactly.
And if he spent $40 or $50 or $500 for a little package, he would have not taken it seriously. He would have had a meeting and said, oh, forget it. I wanted him to feel the burn, feel the pain.
And that's
spend
exactly why I'm with Aaron right now.
Yeah.
Trust me, I feel the pain.
You
I'm
feel
like,
it.
shit, that payment's coming up. And then
And if you make that payment and you don't show up, you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, damn it. Like, I just spent $15,000 and I'm not even showing up. Yeah. And it's just too much pain. Yeah. It's almost a greater pain than the pain of I'm just going to show up and do the workout. Screw it. And then you're done with the workout and you feel amazing. And then it just fuels its own positive reinforcement cycle. So I knew he needed that. And I'm just happy I did that. I just wanted to throw it out there.
No, it's powerful, dude. That's real.
I just wanted to say that. I feel like it was just something that people need to hear. You know?
Absolutely.
Looks like his son was a great investment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you really care about your pops. That's what's up, bro.
Going into that people, right? Like environment. I think for you, and don't tell me if there's a different, factor, but for you, like the biggest thing was getting your environment right.
100%, bro, because I ended up in a bad environment. You know what I mean? And all I wanted was a good environment. And like I mean, look around. Like, you think I'm in a good environment? You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck yes, I am. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then just hearing them like, shit, like, I see something in the underdogs. Like, that's me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll rip somebody apart for what I love. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got a couple chips on my shoulders. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been crazy, the journey, but like, this is why, like, this is why I'm not racist, bro. You know why? Because growing up, my people told me that I wouldn't be shit. You know what I'm saying? You're ugly, you dumb, you're not gonna be nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I had teachers and they were white and pulled me to the side. And they're like, you're special. You're gonna do something big in your life. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like when I hear him say that shit, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same people that always been believing in me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that Mexicans don't believe in me. I got, all that shit like that. But for the most part, bro, it's been white, older people that see something special in me. So I'm like, bro, like, I love them. You know what I'm saying? And like, I almost feel more comfortable talking to a white millionaire than I do somebody from the hood. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, been where I've been, all that shit like that. I get a lot of anxiety because I don't even want to deal with that shit no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, environment has been huge for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finally in that right place. But guess what? Like, I had to put in work for me to be able to match with this environment. Because if I would have met Real, like, right when I got out of prison, he'd have been like, you're too wild for this. I don't need you around us. You know what I'm saying? And even to this day, I mean, you know what's crazy is like Real becomes a voice in your head. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, now I'm like, all right, I was gonna cop a fucking $2,000 chain the other day. Like, just a little simple thing, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm thinking about Real. And I'm like, all right, so Real's gonna be like, do you think you could have invested that better? You know what I'm saying? And like, but like, that's what's happening because I'm around the right people. You know what I'm trying to say? Now I'm not gonna, I'm a big risk taker, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in going all in, even going for broke. You know what I mean? Because I've made, not compared to like the John Malots and the Reels and all that shit, nothing compared to that shit. But like, bro, I've had bands in my account. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I've seen money come and go, so I know it's there. You know what I mean? So I'm not scared to lose shit or invest shit or to risk shit. You know what I mean? But being in this environment is hedging against my weaknesses because I got people around me making sure that I uphold a certain standard. You know what I mean? Or that actually want to see me win. You know what I mean? That's not going to encourage my worst side of me because I have that battle between flesh and spirit, just like every man. You know what I mean? So my flesh is telling me, turn the fuck up, go hard. Bro, you can make 10 bands this week. Why are you scared of that? You know what I mean? But then I'm like, all right, boom. A little bit of balance. Reels in my head. You know what I'm saying? Steve's in my head. You know what I'm saying? Whoever might be in my head that's around me, of course, this environment is blessing me. You know what I mean? So I greatly appreciate that, along with everybody that's ever pulled me to the side and told me that they see something in me. Because there was many times throughout my life that I didn't see that myself, or I felt like, I don't know if it was like a lack of worthiness, or like it was some weird shit that had me feeling like maybe I'm nothing and I don't matter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So shout out to everybody that's ever fucking believed in me. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are. I don't know where you're at, but
I'm gonna cut that whole piece from him, dude. He needs that.
Yeah.
You play that when you're feeling down. You play that back to yourself, because you're your own, ultimately your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
100%. That's nothing more needed to be said about that. Everybody knows that. So, guys, what's the future for Alpha Army?
Alpha Army specifically, hopefully, the goal is 100 million for those companies, and to build that into a sales monster. But me personally, got some big things in the works. Relationships are everything, and I want to keep preaching that. And that took me a long time to learn. But as you know, I'm telling these guys, it's the relationships, man. It's you're one relationship away from some big things. And, because I take that so serious, and, they're even take him for example, there may be some people that are overlooking him because, they don't think he looks right, or whatever it is, or he doesn't speak right. There's certain people that maybe they got brushed off, but I'm going to go all in on them. And somehow, some way, something big always comes from that. And, literally in the past, 2-3 weeks, I've been introduced to some people that, honestly crazy to be in the room with them. Like it's not just like next level. It's like
multiple
1,000 levels above me.
Yeah,
like
you're 10Xing, dude. You're 10Xing.
We're talking people with the B's and, after their net worth. So, we got some big things in the work. There's nothing for sure on some of these things, but the opportunities that have come in the last 2 weeks are crazy. And if those things go through, you're going to see me on some magazines or some shit.
Let's go. Come on. Straight up.
I like that, dude. All right, guys. So, I appreciate you guys being here today. Before you go, what's one last piece of advice that you have for people who are watching?
I would say, if you're going to do something, go all in, give it everything you got, and don't stop when it gets hard. What do they say? Like when you're going through hell, like keep going. Like, most people, and you hear about this a lot, most people like, I'm going through a hard time, and it's like you quit there. It's like, well, why the hell would you quit in the middle of the shit? Like, keep going and get through it. And I'm a testament to that, man. Mm-hmm. You keep going, you'll get through it. Like, you keep focusing on what you're doing. I think Cody Sperber said something like that on his too, which was powerful. Like, keep going, and good things will happen. Good things will come.
Adrian? I would say, don't lie to yourself, and be louder than your fears, right? I think a lot of times we all hold different lies that we think are not lies, we think they're truths. Right? Like I'm this, I'm that, or that can go in so many different directions, but being louder than your fears. Like if you want to start a podcast, if you want to be an influencer on Instagram, if you want to be a business leader, you want to be able to influence teams and the masses, then you need to be louder than your fears. You know what I'm saying? Like just because I'm speaking up in front of 20 people doesn't mean I'm not scared, bro, but I'm going to be louder than that shit. I'm going to overcome it right in front of them, and I'm going to tell them that shit. I'm dealing with a little bit, what's it called? So bear with me, but this is what it is. So that would be my best piece of advice for somebody.
Awesome. All right, guys, you could follow him at Alpha Army. Be about people for your podcast. And what's your podcast name one more time?
It's Official Alpha Army.
Okay, Official Alpha Army.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you guys so much. Rio Osorio Adrian Vasquez. This is Kicking Ass Taking Names podcast. Stay tuned, subscribe, follow us, add us on, or subscribe on YouTube.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.